We are back from the 2025 Borealis Psychedelic Science Summit in Stockholm, and I am joined now by Professor Eva Henje. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are one of the people who traveled, didn't have to travel as far. You're based here in Sweden, I understand.
I am, yeah.
Yes, here in Stockholm, or?
Well, I have my my professorship at Umeå University, which is far up north, but I live mostly in Stockholm.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have to travel back and forth to the university, or?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, by plane, it's a pretty short trip, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a beautiful part of Sweden.
Yes, I've been to Umeå a couple of times.
Yeah.
And the first time I was there, I was at a basketball camp, and we had bananas. We didn't have a refrigerator, so we just put the bananas in a bag outside of the window, and the bananas froze to ice. That's how cold it was in Umeå.
Yeah, that happens in the wintertime.
Yes, but it was fun times, though.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about frozen bananas in Umeå.
No.
Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into doing psychedelic science.
Well, to begin from the very beginning, I started med school because I was interested about healing and about life energy and how we can be well in our bodies, in our relationships, and with the greater context that we live in.
Right.
And I went through medical school and was like, what am I doing here? We are taught about a machine, basically. And there is nobody interested in the questions that I carry with me. Right. So when I was done with, or during med school, I took a sabbatical, a year off, and I traveled to India. And was kind of blown away by all the states of consciousness and meditation and yoga practice and all of that. So that was very validating for me, that there is a whole world out there who have another ontology or another way of looking at what life is and what health is and all of that. So I carried through medical school and decided to become a child and adolescent psychiatrist, because I thought maybe that's more relational at least, or there are more other aspects of social sciences and relationships. And throughout the years, what I witnessed is how child and adolescent psychiatry has become more and more technical and more biomedicalized. And we diagnose people as their suffering is mental disorders, and we treat them with medication to take away symptoms. But still, we're not interested in their context, the systems they live in, or how they perceive the world from their subjective experience so much. So I've been disappointed and disillusioned many times. And then I early on, I was hearing about the Bay Area and the mind-body medicine and John Kabat-Zinn and all these people who were doing great research, kind of pushing the boundaries a bit. And then I had an opportunity to go there for a postdoc. And that was when the psychedelic renaissance started to take off. In that area of the world, and there were researchers coming from Johns Hopkins, and they were, showing movies about their patients, and I was like, wow, this might be something, that is more fitting to the way I perceive things. So there it started. I had never taken any psychedelics. I had no kind of my preconceived ideas around psychedelics before I got there was like, never ever mess with your brain. These are drugs. They are very dangerous, and don't go there. Yeah. But slowly I had to, shift perspective and actually take in what's possible with these medicines. And also, again, witnessing how some of this movement and some of the counterculture that it entails has been co-opted again by the biomedical. So it's almost like we're making full circle. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. So many people have a different path into this world. Yeah. Where they have their own experiences, and then they want to work with it and go to the professional setting. But you started on the other end and was disillusioned by what you saw on that end. And also I had a lot of experiences of altered states, but they came not from psychedelics. They came from pranayama techniques, from practicing daily yoga practice, all of that, which is also mind altering and shouldn't be neglected.
So that's one thing I'm also interested in how to help people kind of maintain their positive experience of psychedelics with those kinds of practices that can kind of tap into that realm again.
Right. Interesting.
So I wasn't completely not interested in. I was very interested in altered states, but from a different paradigm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And who knows, how these yogis, what kind of mushrooms they were eating. Or,
You never know.
We never know. Yeah. I mean, actually, lots of the big meditation teachers from the Bay Area were experimenting in their youth with psychedelics. And that was actually put them on the path.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think there is more overlap that we may know, but that's just my own theory.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, in spirituality and ancient religious rituals, psychedelics have always been around.
Yeah.
Exactly. For sure there's overlap.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Once you got into that world, what kind of research did you decide that you want to do?
So since I was a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I had, already started up research, and the research that I wanted to do was to bring the mind-body medicine into child and adolescent psychiatry. Mm-hmm. And help people using those techniques to self-regulate, and also help them relate to their suffering, and not from trying to get rid of it, but actually put it in context and kind of feel it and have enough space to handle it. And also by actually analyzing and perhaps challenging the systems that young people live in. And what are the drivers for their symptoms? Maybe in many cases, depression is a very natural and understandable response to overwhelm. Often in young people, depression doesn't come just like a flash from nowhere.
Of course.
It is very much related to chronic stress, toxic stress, trauma, social exclusion and things like that.
Yeah.
Loss and unprocessed grief. So my idea was to build a program where we were starting with kind of bottom-up regulation, breathing techniques and simple yoga movements to give them the tools to calm down inside, and then start to see what are the social triggers, and then go into the bigger context, and then have them to kind of go deep with their core values and re-engage in the world, with a direction, with a commitment, which is a very antidepressive action.
Yeah.
Because then you connect again and you engage again. And so this was my way in to the research there. And it was a neuroscience lab at UCSF, and we did brain scans, pre-post this program. It's called TARA, Training for Awareness, Resilience and Action.
Okay.
And then with the psychedelics, I had already all this experience with depressed youth. So depression was the go-to for me within the psychedelic research. So I've been participating in a study at the Karolinska, looking at psilocybin for depression in adults. Johan Lundberg is PI for that one. It's soon to be published, the results.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Is it called CIPRI? No?
CPET.
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 Right. That's the one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's also a very biomarker heavy study with lots of parameters that we can look into later on. And then I've also been engaged in spearheading a study to use MDMA for depression in young adults that now we have set up in Oslo in Norway. Okay. And I find that really, really interesting. According to that principle that depression would be something that is a response to overwhelm and trauma and toxic stress, then it's not so different from PTSD or complex PTSD, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's even a chronic dissociative state, a shutdown that these young people suffer from. And then MDMA would be the perfect kind of push into self-compassion and actually integrating and understanding more about oneself.
Yeah. Very interesting. It feels like the world is shouting for something with so much, so many mental health issues and with technology being ever more present and stress and all that.
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see.
And the disconnect in the world that we live in general is kind of, no wonder that people are not well.
Yeah.
We are living so far away from our biology.
Yeah. We feel like we're connecting because we're talking through screens all the time, but it's like chewing bubble gum and think you're eating.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
And that's one aspect of it. But looking even further, even deeper to the problem, it's the way I see it nowadays is more like it's driven by also an ontology of progress and an ontology of modernity, an ontology of a global economic system that is all about, increasing, putting more pressure, endless, perpetual growth.
Yeah.
And of course, that is not in alignment with the way our systems work and our biology work and the ecosystems work. So we are starting to see the results. And in my world, no surprise, people are suffering. Noticing that. So we need to connect also those links. And I think here also psychedelic in many cases help people to shift ontology so that they actually get out of that cortical, cognitive, competitive, rational way of thinking and actually finding that there is more to it.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So is this what you'll be speaking about during the summit?
So I won't have my own talk here, but I will be in 2 panels.
Right.
And one will be around trauma and psychedelics, which of course touches into all of what I've said so far. And then the other one I'm very excited about, actually, is about women in psychedelics and the psychedelics, mistress of the feminine, and there are so many aspects of that needs to be highlighted.
Please say more about the topic.
If we talk about looking at the world, I think we could. I mean, this is an oversimplification, and it doesn't apply to all men. But there is a kind of masculine way of looking at the world, which is aligned with this idea of progress and competition and dominance, and a lot of what we see.
Yeah.
Today's world leaders, the way the world is very much run.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
You have a point.
Yes. And then to label it the feminine outlook of things, it's interconnected. It's about caring. It's about nurturing. It's about carrying a child. It's about being creative.
Right.
And from that perspective, the whole world does not make sense. And I think there is a huge rage, a deep rage in women, because women have been so oppressed. Even though we are not a minority in any way, we are probably more than half the population on the earth.
Yeah.
But still, this wildness and wisdom and connectedness and mystery is so feared even today. I mean, it was feared in the witch hunts. Tens of thousands of medicine women were eradicated. And still this polarity lives with us. And I see it also in academia. To me, the academia is often a center of excellence, of competition.
Right.
You need to compete with other people to get the grants. You need to do it by a very biomedical paradigm to be taken seriously.
Right.
Many people are also interested in the subjective experience of psychedelics, or the qualitative aspects, or the system theory aspects of things. And I think it's such a huge loss to this research field and to humanity at large to kind of have the old paradigm again corrupt.
Right.
Especially since the psychedelics are opening up this other way of seeing in people. And that's so precious. So how can we kind of preserve that even in our clinical trials and in clinical surroundings?
How can we?
I don't know. I think we can't fully, because what happens is that people open up and have sometimes amazing experiences, and then they go back home into the dominant paradigm.
Right.
And the brain is plastic for a while after, more hyperplastic, and that will also be encoded when the memory reconsolidates afterwards. So I think often people are in an even worse spot after a few weeks, a month, a couple of months, because then the afterglow has faded and they haven't got the opportunity to reintegrate from the other way of looking at the world in real life.
Right. So it's more of a societal issue. We need to
keep
working on this, not just have the experience and then you're done.
No, it's not a quick fix. It's not like a pill that you take.
Yeah.
I mean, that's astonishing that we can believe that, because we are interconnected. And I think we can't solve the problem from the same level as the problem was created.
Yeah.
And that is what we're trying to do right now. But actually, we need to go deeper.
Yeah.
We need to allow the discomfort and the challenges and the often vulnerable place of actually challenging the dominant paradigm, to be able to create space for this more life nurturing, caring, interconnected way of living.
Do you feel like more people are starting to view things this way?
I'm not sure. Some people are. I don't see so much of it in research yet. But I think maybe more in the subcultures of psychedelics, it exists more.
Right. In
neo-shamanic wellness retreats and that kind of settings, hopefully. I think the community surrounding a person after having this kind of altered state experience is really, really important. And also to address these questions, because they are real for people.
Yeah.
And often the way we are also taught and the way the dominant culture want us almost to perceive our suffering is that it's something wrong with us. It's something wrong with me because I'm depressed. I have a chemical imbalance in my brain.
Right.
And I say, yes, that is probably mediating the symptoms, but the cause is often not there.
Yeah.
The cause is in much more, is much more complex. And we are complex adaptive living systems that are constantly, taking in and out information.
Yeah.
And of course, we perceive that we're living on a dying planet. And what are we going to do?
Right.
Go back to work. Shut down.
Don't look up.
No, don't look up, exactly. So we need each other, to challenge this. And it's not so easy to name it, because people can feel criticized. You don't get very popular in the academic environment, challenging current paradigms and things like that. And also being a woman, of course. So I'm very happy that they have brought this panel together.
Yeah, that's great.
This is one aspect of the panel. Then it is, what happens when women are in altered states with male therapists? Are there transgressions happening?
Right.
Are there re-traumatization happening? How are women seen in the research with their biology and their hormones and their child pregnancies and menstruation cycles? Is that even researched much?
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's many levels that this kind of pans out into.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's great, because I think everyone here is excited about the last few years with the psychedelic renaissance, but everyone is also very cautious not to repeat the mistakes that were done in the 60s.
Exactly.
And have a backlash and everything shut down again.
Yeah.
So these kind of conversations are so important to make sure that if we're going to introduce this into society, we do it responsibly.
We have to do it responsibly, and within that responsibility is not only to carry out a spotless RCT. It's also taking care of the person in the matrix that this person is embedded in.
Yeah.
And have follow-up. And I know there are also going to be panels here, questioning the RCT designs and whether there are other ways of also interrogating and getting more information on a deeper level.
Right.
Because everything we get out of an RCT is a mean value of a proxy for something. It's a self-assessment scale that is pre-designed. It is a bio-indicator or biomarker of something that is often quite general.
Right.
So it's like the DSM diagnosis map poorly into the subjective experience sometimes. And
can be. That's super interesting. I'm happy you're doing that kind of work. What's something in the psychedelic research field that you're excited about in general for today, that's happening today, or that we're heading towards?
I think the whole idea of reframing what depression is, and in severe cases or therapy-resistant cases, using psychedelics to enhance the healing process in combination with psychotherapy. I'm a trained trauma therapist in several different modalities, so I think we can do a lot by using those techniques also for depression without psychedelics. But in severe cases, I think psychedelics would be very helpful also, and that's what we are testing now with the MDMA study in Norway.
Right.
So the whole field of understanding more how psychedelics can be helpful in a trauma therapy setting and process, I think that's really interesting. Almost moving back to the psycholytic way of looking at things.
Right.
To kind of hold this process in a longer arc within a safe relationship, and have the integration unfold within that. I think that holds potential that, this one preparatory session and 2 or 3 integration sessions, they can't hold that.
Right. More is needed.
Yeah. And maybe that's helpful for some people on some indications, but I think so both, and I'm not saying that that's all bad, but it needs to be more nuanced, and we need to know more about the predictors for the outcome, which patients need what.
Right.
And in general, I think people need connection and care for a longer period afterwards, and we are underestimating the potential re-traumatization that happens after a dosing.
Right.
So those are things that I'm super interested in.
I bet. That's very interesting work. I'm looking forward to following it. Where can people find or follow your work?
So I have just put up a website after a long period of hesitation, because it is controversial subjects, but I felt also I need to be clear.
Yeah.
So it's now up. It's just my name, Eva Henje, in oneword.com. So you can find more information there, both about research and clinical offerings and trauma therapies and things like that. It's very new. I'm in the process of moving a little bit out of academia to create a bigger freedom to be active, to operate within other contexts. And also I have a fear that all this research with the group intervention for young people, for instance, we have shown now that is at least as good, but probably more effective than SSRIs and the treatment as usual. And I don't want those results to stay on the shelf in my office, or in some scientific journal that nobody reads. So it's also a process of disseminating and educating and empowering young people that I feel very motivated to engage with.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing the work, and thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And thanks to everyone who's tuning in. This has been Yoshi from the Borealis Psychedelic Science Summit in Stockholm. Catch you next time.